You scroll on TikTok and watch videos about starting a business. You can see yourself becoming successful. You're rich, your own boss. This time I definitely start after 5 minutes. Then, after some hours, you even start planning the logo for your new company. Create plan, how you hire people, earn money. It's so easy to create business. And then, it's just one more video or maybe something else, but you stop. You still burn it, but you just sit. You tell yourself you do it tomorrow, but tomorrow keeps turning into next week, next month. And that dream business, well, it stays a dream. You want to start business like hell, but the more we want something, the more we procrastinate about it. I wanted to tell you about the book called The War of Art, that talks about the idea of resistance, force that tries to hold you back from doing what you really want. But I don't think that resistance is the whole story when it comes to procrastination. It's like resistance combines all of the problems, but everyone has their own reason for putting stuff off, and those reasons often come in a bundle. Shortly, what resistance is about. Sometimes there are something that you really want to do, but something stops you. Think of it like a voice in your head that always comes up with excuses. It tells you things like, you're not good enough, it's too hard, or maybe you start tomorrow. It's pulling you away from things that are important. The craziest, that the more important something for your growth as a human being, the stronger the resistance becomes. So if you want to create your own business that drastically can change your life, you encounter the strongest resistance. Resistance doesn't want you to grow, to succeed, to become a better version of yourself. It wants you to stay comfortable, to stay small and stuck it in your life like now. Resistance is quite good to describe procrastination, and I would use something from this book, but I want to look deeper of why do this voice appear in your head. Why it stop you? Reasons behind all of this. You should understand that procrastination is not about laziness. As you probably experience it, when you procrastinate, you often find yourself highly motivated to achieve something. You want to become rich, you want to change your life, become a better version of yourself. But like magnets with same polarity, the closer you to the place where you can change your life, the harder it to move there. Then, as everything in our life, we try to rationalize our choice. You say yourself that today is Monday, I started Tuesday, today is not even day, and that there is already someone who does this and more. Everything that can explain your slacking. But when we procrastinate, we essentially try to defend ourselves. Our brains prioritize our well-being, even if it means avoiding discomfort. Our brains don't want to feel pain, be bored, stressed, tired, so they actively protect us from these experiences. What means that the work you should do but gives you stress, also something that brain wants to stop you from doing. For example, imagine you have a university research. Perhaps it's a subject that you find challenging, or presentation you're nervous about delivering. Despite knowing the importance of completing the task, you find yourself putting it off. Every day it becomes even harder. I have other things to focus on, I have to get it later. However, as the deadline approaches, you still find ways to avoid starting. And it's okay if you find yourself wanting to avoid tasks that's stressful to you. I mean, it's not good, but I understand why you do it. But if you keep putting off, it can turn into even worse. It becomes a habit for your body, a way of dealing with stress. You get into a loop where stress is a trigger, and the reward is avoiding it. So every time you stress it about something, you end up avoiding it, which makes the habit even stronger. You dig yourself into a deep hole without even realizing it. Another big reason we procrastinate is because we care too much. You have passion about something, like you want to write a book, or maybe you heard about dropshipping and you're excited to give it a try, but then you hesitate. You're afraid that whatever you produce won't be good enough for your high standards. You're scared to fail, so you don't even start. You care so much about doing things perfectly that it actually stops you from doing anything at all. You may be even doing something productive in some ways, but not that change something drastically. You watch tutorials about writing, but when it comes to actually taking action and writing, you do anything because it's just easier. That actually is the next reason for procrastination. Instant gratification, like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, games. There you get quick dopamine. But when you're working on something to improve yourself, you invested in your future, and the payout isn't immediate. You have to put time and efforts without getting instant satisfaction. Why bother with the hard work and delayed gratification when you can get a quick fix from social media? And all these reasons create that voice in our head. And these reasons create resistance, that's stopping us. And the harder things, the stronger resistance will be. It always appears when you do something that can change your life. When you go out of your comfort zone instead of choosing something easy. But you actually can use it. The stronger resistance, the stronger sign that you should do it. So if there are tasks you put off right now, maybe you should do it instead of watching this video. You can put off things for days, months and even years, but you should just start. Think of resistance like a solid wall standing standing between you and your goals. Only if you put enough strength and push down the wall, make your first step, and keep the ball rolling, you feel that you can do it. It's not that hard, and you just continue, follow your passion. First step is the hardest and most important. But how actually take first step? And not just once, but every time you need to do something. You might think about time management or strict work hours, but being too harsh on yourself will increase negative emotions. We should reduce negative response. Some simple strategies is to divide big tasks on smaller tasks. Doing smaller things create confidence in yourself that you can do these tasks. Make small steps, finishing tasks and getting small wins. Every time slightly increase tasks, making them harder and bigger, but not fast, as feeling of losing because you take too much can only worse situation. And I don't like to say it, but the way of your thinking is matters. If you constantly tell yourself you're lazy or incapable, you become like this. But if you believe in yourself and you think that you're rich man, that you can do it, you really can do it. You may hear this everywhere, but this really works. What I can do. Another thing I recommend is to remove distractions. Get rid of anything that might pull your attention away from your work. Put your phone in another room or hide it somewhere so you can easily reach it without getting up. Turn off the TV, close unnecessary apps on your computer, and remove every other distraction. If possible, find a quiet place to work where you know you'll be less likely to be distracted. This might mean going to library or even just different room in your house where you can focus better. Try to avoid working in the same place where you sleep. When you associate your bed with relaxation, it can be hard to stay focused on work. Also, forget about relying solely on motivation. True, it can be helpful, but you can't always count on it. Take an actor for example. What do they do when they don't feel like going on stage? Do they just keep out? No, that could be the end of their career. Instead, they push through their fears and take that step forward onto the stage. They don't wait around for motivation to strike. They just get the job done because they're professionals. Professionals know about fear, and they know how to work with it because they can't just make it disappear. They acknowledge that fear is there, but they take actions. They sit down and start doing something, even if it feels incredibly hard at first. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is just getting started. But once they take this first step, once they begin, they start to receive positive feedback. They realize that they're not just sitting, letting fear hold them back. They actively make progress and getting the work done, and that sense of accomplishments can be incredibly motivating. It helps them push through any remaining resistance. Bye.